Hey gang. Good morning. Today I'm gonna draw. I'm 1 second. I realized I'm standing in front of a window and I have no clothes on. Alright, there we are. I have a shirt on now and I can be seen by the outside world. So yeah. Guess what I did today? I dropped out of school. Technically no. I withdrew from the semester and the following semester. So, but I do plan on attending a year from now. Oh, macaroni sheet. Yeah, I was really thinking about it for a long time. There's a lot of things going on all at once, and it just became really hard to deal with school and deal with work and deal with uh, mental health and physical health and you know I'm not surprised that these issues like pop up or have popped up so recently, um, but when they all kind of happen at the same time, whew, man, does that stink when they all happen at the same time. um, you just don't know which way is up or which one to pursue as a major concern. Like which one do I solve? Which fire do I put out first so that I can handle the other fires? And when they're all, when everything is on fire, it gets really hard to distinguish like which one should I tackle first, because they all seem real big and real scary. And at a certain point, you realize you can't tackle any of them. Yeah, because there's just too much all at the same time, and you just can't deal with that. One of these days I'm gonna do one of these, and I'm gonna actually draw something. Maybe you know what I'll do? I might look up prompts, because this is really just me like in my free flow state where I'm just making cylinders and just kind of greebling them up. I wonder about this kind of stuff, like in terms of YouTube, in terms of what stuff do I want this to become, I mean, like I said, like this is mostly just for me to vent, but I think I'd like to do something real with this. I think I'd want to I don't really know yet actually what I'd want to do. I'd want to make something cool, which I guess everybody wants to do. I think it'd be really fun to just draw with other people, kind of like a drawfee situation. Um, they're real fun, and I feel like it's just people doodling along with each other. I mean, it just is people doodling along with each other as a job, Like, I love doodling. Doodling is my favorite thing to do. I think I've already talked about this before. Just kind of nonsense stuff that could become something someday. It's really bad about that, making something else with it. Like I tend to make the idea and I get stopped short there. I have a fun sketch, but never like a finished idea. To be honest, that's been like my major struggle with this semester. That's why it's been going so rough art-wise. I mean, aside from the, dealing with mental health and physical health and that kind of thing. That's a weird shape. There has just been the challenge of seeing what I need to get better at and not necessarily investing the time or space into getting better at that. That's weird. One of those things being bringing a sketch into a finished product or thing. Because when I'm sketching, like, I really don't care. And so it kind of frees me up to make whatever, add whatever, do whatever. Like, it's just for shoots and ladders, shoots and googles. Versus when you have to care about something, it's important that you get it right, and getting it right manifests into such a monster. Because what even is that in art? What is getting it right? Like, what does that mean? Is there a right way to do something? Is there like a codified do this to get this to do this to do this, blah blah blah? And when you say that, of course there is, like, but with something as subjective as art, like, it's really hard to define those, or it's hard to find people that can define those adequately, because it's such a individualistic thing. What works for somebody does work, but will it work for me? Probably not. I mean, and that's not to say that, like, I'm the only one who thinks the way I do, but like, being able to actually find those people that think how you do and can explain to you things in a way that you'll understand, like, that's nearly impossible. You find people that give you advice along the way that makes sense in that context, but I've yet to find someone who has all the answers for me specifically, and that's really not a thing I can actually hope to find when I think about it realistically. Oh man. So yeah, back to I dropped out. There's like this just heaviness, that I was kind of hoping would be resolved when I, submitted the form to withdraw from the term. It's been sitting on me for this entire semester, and it actually feels like it's just now hitting its peak. It feels like it's like the worst. Like, there's been no nothing's fixed, sorry that this is such a bummer, you know, like, and I think to myself, like, if I were to become big and famous from this, not from this specifically, but from this type of thing where I'm like talking and drawing, or not famous, but like if someone were to watch this consistently and be like, I like watching him draw, I would hate for like the drawings just to be filled with the most depressing commentary in the world. What am I doing here, dude? I don't know. I wanna be genuine though. I wanna be real, like how I'm feeling and what's going on. Like this is, at the end of the day, this is for me. You know, I'm putting it out there just because I got to put something out there. You know, I can't. Ooh, what was that? You know, like I can't contribute nothing. You know, what this is contributing. I'm not gonna say I'm so altruistic as to be like, I'm hoping that people in a similar state find this, you know, like I kind of don't think that's relevant right now. Like in my life, I think that I guess I already said this. I think I'm doing this for me. I think I just want to draw something and have it out there, and whatever the way that is, for anyone to just kind of stumble into, you know? It's kind of the coolest thing about the internet is like the act of just finding something. And like for a while, it's sometimes feeling like you found something and it's all yours. You know, like a true hipster. I do that sometimes where I will really like something and, you know, want people to listen to it, want people to see it. But the moment people actually start seeing it, or it becomes a bit more mainstream, I really do start just saying, I think I'm over this. What can I say? I don't like people liking the things that I like because it makes me feel less unique. Maybe. I don't know. Who knows? Ooh, that's a weird foot. You got a weird foot. You know, I'm realizing now that I just put like a 1 hour video on YouTube that doesn't have any like music or like nothing. It's just purely this. And I don't see how that would ever be built for success. You know, I'm hoping that in some way this makes it so that I can double task a bit better or multitask a little bit better, because I'm a real stinker when it comes to talking and doing things at the same time. Who knows? Maybe I've got a little smooth brain. But it is a challenge. Talking and doing at the same time. There, only a few people that can actually pull it off in an actual way that it makes them successful. I'm much more of a do and shut up kind of guy, because then I just kind of ramble like this. And whoever's around me's got to deal with it and whatever. Boom. I wonder about doing this just every day. I've got the drive to do it. I've got the ability. I don't know how long I've got Photoshop and all the other things to do it, though, because my school is the one providing this. And so there's every chance that this is, like, the last I get to use this for a little while. Sorry. Hope that wasn't loud and obnoxious. Boom. Gotta give them kind of a tush. One of the biggest mistakes I've seen in people drawing characters is that they don't give them butts. They don't give them the this, like, how do I phrase it? Like, connecting region between their legs and their body. Like, they just kind of like this is torso and this is leg versus, tush. Those are separate pieces, not this. Makes it really hard to animate things because it's just so it's so Kirby-ish, like how they did it, but like they found a way to make it work, but like it's such a limited actual range of motion unless you really know what you're doing to like make it work for you. Human characters need butts. If a human character doesn't have a butt, then you're messed up, dog. You ain't got no mobility. Boom. Boom. Curbster. Oh, dumpy. I have a bad habit of drawing way too light a lot of times. I think it's just because I was taught to draw mostly with pen, and so like I really like ballpoint pen. So like when I do draw, I'm like, man, I only get one chance at this, so I've got to just barely put anything down, and then later I can come back and decide which of those lines I like. Although I never come back and actually decide which of those lines I like. Wonder. Yeah, there we are. Let's draw like this. Mm-hmm. 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 I just watched Castle in the Sky. No, Howl's Moving Castle, and it was pretty good. It it the more I watch Ghibli movies that aren't tied to my childhood, the more nonsensical it all becomes. Like I realize, like coming into Ghibli movies as an adult kind of sucks because you're just not ready for that level of suspension of disbelief. Um, like with like Cat Bus and Totoro and just like all this like magic and these things that are just kind of whatever. Like the visuals, really cool. The logic, I mean, sometimes I feel like it doesn't even really hold up to like the own universe's scrutiny, if that makes any sense. Trying to think of an example, but coming up, Bupkis. Well, like what was it? Like the end of How's Moving Castle. No spoilers. Well, spoilers intended. So, um, when she like goes through that door and goes back in time, the main character, I've already forgotten her name, of course, because dang it, Sophie. When Sophie goes through the door and goes back into Hal's life, and tells him to find her afterwards, and I don't know, man, that seemed like kind of out of left field. I mean, obviously he's got magic, but all these solutions seem weird and like, oh, and when the freaking when the scarecrow ends up being a prince who, and it's like, oh, you can only be saved by your one true love, and it's like, you may love her, but she don't love you. It was such a weird thing. It's such a weird like fix to the movie where it's like, oh, he was the guy all along. That's going to go and end this war, and then at the end of it, the main bad lady was like, well, I guess the war's over. It just felt like a very clean ending to something that didn't resolve anything on its own. Like it just was just like, oh, this happened, so I guess this happens, rather than this happens, so of course this thing then happens. If that makes any sense to anybody. I think a lot about those YouTube channels that like look at movies and look at review content, and I don't know. I don't think I could ever do review content. I can talk about my opinions, but I don't know how I would feel about giving people my opinion as a thing to follow. If that makes any sense. Fun shape. Blah, 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 blah. now before my Adobe license expires. I should probably I don't know, do like an After Effects animation for like an intro to these things. Otherwise, it's gonna be cold opens all the way. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, I feel bad because these are actually, this is kind of fun. I have another PSD file that's just supposed to be my digital sketchbook, and I kind of set it up to be like this, where it was like, I'll just open a new layer every day, or every time I sit down to sketch. But I guess I'm abandoning that one for this one, is what I was trying to say. Boom, boom. You know what I'm realizing now, which sounds a little ridiculous, but YouTube does require talent. Like, being a good YouTuber requires that you know, that you have a plan. Well, that you have an idea of something that you want to talk about. That you have a passion for something you want to talk about. You have an interest in like finding new things and talking about them and exploring them and doing things with them, and requires like the desire to have an upload schedule. It has you have to have some sense of personality into what you're presenting to the world. And it requires something. I think the thing that I'm amazed by is that it requires so much drive. You know, like these people don't just wake up and do something because they want to all the time. They wake up and do something because they have to. You know, like whether that's like a job or family stuff. But you know, they're a YouTuber. Like the nature of a YouTuber is that they made something that combines the necessity of it being a job, like where they feel like they have to do it, with like the joy of like a hobby, you know. And there are people that go ahead and make a career out of that, and that's kind of crazy. It's weird. Bunk. Yeah, man. How do streamers do that? Like, how do streamers and YouTubers do that, where they just talk to themselves and people engage with that? Like, that's insane to me. Like, to feel connected to somebody else. Which makes me sound like a friggin' alien. I say it like that. But, like, what is it that draws us in and makes us feel connected to these people who are just sharing what could be considered like nothing or like very unimportant. I don't know. I suppose like I should be asking myself that question because like I don't know. I watch a lot of YouTube. Like, and I don't find myself living through YouTubers. Not like in that like was it parasocial way, but I definitely find myself invested in their work and their things, and sometimes in their lives. Without even really meaning to, it just kind of happens. You know, like I don't go into this and say like I want to find out everything about their personal life, but at some point I'm like, Markiplier girlfriend. Sorry. Audio. I have a window in my apartment that lets me look out into my neighbor's backyard, and because I live in a building, but I have like there's like houses around us, and so I'll just be staring out in my neighbor's yard and see them coming out of their building, and like today, like I was shirtless. I was like, oh no, I've got my windows open. They could definitely see me if they felt like it. They felt like looking up for a moment. Although 9 times out of 10, like they really don't bother to look up at anything. Whoa, it's been 32 minutes already? Time's at 1:27. Cool. Bonk. Now it's kind of jelly. It's a very shiny material. It's like he's wearing like a fruit roll up for like a shawl or something. Go back to 100% opacity. Kind of thorny. You know, I'm not that kind of person that can get ideas out very quickly. I just kind of let them happen over time. Very rarely do I have the time to actually develop those ideas. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, it doesn't have his foot on top. Stop it. I don't know if this happens to everybody else, but like my my hand gets in the way of me drawing, where I can't see what I'm doing, like at all. So like drawing a line underneath his feet like was hard because I couldn't see from left to right, and I was drawing because like my knuckle was covering up his other foot, and I couldn't see the trajectory where I was going. Just a busy composition now. Whatever. I don't know what this was supposed to be. Whoa. Whoa. Yeah, that's a drawing. Nope. Yeah, that's my drawing. Yeah, I'm not gonna do anything else with that, but thanks for listening. I'll see you soon. All right, bye.